What we done started. Look at what we done started. This the people party.
Party people, in the place to be. You're now rocking with Talib Kweli, the BKMC, the MCEO. This is the world's #1 podcast, The People's Party. I'm here rocking with my lovely, talented, thoughtful, funny co-host, Jasmin Leigh. Give it up for Jasmin Leigh in the place to be. No doubt. Jasmin, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
You ready to have a party?
I'm ready for the people's party, baby.
Because this episode is about to be a party, for real. Because this guest that we have here is one of the most exciting, inspirational artists. I mean, we talking about one of the greats of the greats. We only fuck with the upper echelon, the top of the food chain here. This guest right here is straight from Yonkers, New York. And I know that's a clue for everybody who's a real hip hop head. You know what? Music taste is subjective. Depending on where you grew up, what era you grew up at, who your parents was, whatever, what are your influences. You can have a subjective opinion about music. But because I'm a musician for a living, I have a bias. And I feel like there are certain universal truths. Stevie Wonder is one of the greatest musicians of all time. Prince, one of the greatest musicians of all time. I feel like if you disagree with me on that, I can't fuck with you.
Nah.
Like I can't trust you. This man is one of the top lyricists of all time in hip hop. And that is a universal truth. He's the voice of a generation. He defined an era. He's an absolute legend of the game. He represents New York City. He's got an album right now, Ignatius, and it fucking slaps. It's pure New York City hip hop and an ode and a homage and a dedication to his good friend, one of his best friends, Icepick Jay. Ladies and gentlemen, Jadakiss is in the house. Yes. So raspy. Peace, King.
King.
Peace, Kiss. Peace. How you feeling, bro?
Peace. Thanks for having me, man. I've been checking you out.
You been enjoying the podcast?
The party is dope. The podcast is excellent.
No doubt.
Happy to be here promoting Ignatius.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? What better platform? Thanks for having me.
You had to come.
Yes.
We invented this platform and this podcast for artists like yourself.
And that's why I appreciate it. You know, I know how much you mean to the culture. I know how adamant you are about keeping our cloth and texture of music out there on on a high level, on the scale, and you know, I'm honored to be here.
Yes, indeed. It's all about culture.
Definitely.
And one thing I like about you and your crew and the Locks and everybody that you've come in the game with and maintained relationship with is that it's always been culture first with you, and I appreciate you about that. I appreciate you for that.
No doubt.
Absolutely. Now, you and me are born the same year, 1975. It's a good year.
Great year.
Good year. 50 Cent, DJ Khaled, will.i.am, you, me, all different artists, all born 1975. But I feel like we all have in common that we are from a special era because we understand the rudiments of hip hop, where it come from, the beginnings, like the Grandmaster Flash, Kool Herc era. We understand that. We was born into it in New York City. We lived through the Biggie and Pac years.
Definitely.
We lived through the Rockefeller, Ruff, Ryder, bad boy years, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
We are still here rocking in the Kendrick and J. Cole years. Definitely. And now even to some of the newer artists, Kendrick and J. Cole's old school to them. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good spot to be situated right now, isn't it?
Definitely. In this particular blood sport that we take part in, to make a career out, to have a career like guys like yourself and myself is an honor right there. It's a blessing. Is something to be thankful for. You know what I mean? And we ain't them dudes that sold 10 million and had them kind of careers that, you know, them other kind of journeys. We got it out the mud. Yeah. And our fans understand what we do and love us for that, and figured it out with touring, and you know, we in the same class.
We working class artists.
Yeah.
Like blue collar working class.
Blue collar working class artists, and you know, we it's just a different texture, and the strength is in the numbers because it ain't too many of us left. So, you know, I just appreciate being here. I appreciate what you do. I appreciate that we're able to have careers.
Yes.
And that makes us even, that makes the conversation, it gives the conversation legs, it gives our career legs. It's a better icebreaker for dudes that been through what we've been through.
No doubt. Now I want to thank you and your crew, the Locks, for giving me one of my most precious moments in hip hop. When y'all first came out, y'all was representing Bad Boy, and it was on top of the world. Bad Boy was the biggest record company in the business. And y'all came out, had radio play, and I was on the underground level. I didn't have the radio play y'all had, and it was just different lanes. And I remember being at a party, and I was looking at y'all. I'm looking at you, Sheik, and Styles, and I'm like, there go the Locks. Damn, I fuck with the Locks. Should I say something to these niggas? And y'all came up to me, and y'all was like, yo, we fuck with you. And that was a lesson for me, because the way that I was being presented in the industry and sold and marketed was like what I was doing was so different from y'all. But y'all saw through that. You know
we saw the MC, we
Yeah.
saw the master of ceremony in you. One thing we never did was judge. When we came out, that's what I've been talking about on this whole promo run, is the balance. I don't like the unbalance in hip hop right now. And a thing that I've been constantly repeating is, for the one Griselda they let in 1,500 bullshit acts, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I got the scale unbalanced, and that's one of the gripes that I have with hip hop today. Not too many, but that's my main one. And when we came up, they had Native Tongue, they had KRS, Rakim, they
Different
had
vibes.
all different vibes, and that made the culture stronger. But now is unbalanced. So, we stick to what it is we do, and we always sort of lyric. That's why we didn't judge you when we came up to you, because it didn't matter how they tried to display you. We saw your craftsmanship, and we respected your flow and cadence and the way you delivered it and what you was talking about. And nothing could stop that, no matter how they might have misrepresented you at that time.
Right.
But
And it's respect is mutual, because I feel the same way.
definitely.
I want to thank you also for jumping on the song 9.5 with me and Styles and Nico and Sheik. Me and Styles, of course, did the whole album together, the 7.
Super fire.
Yeah. You got the 7 hat. Shout out to my man Set Free.
Set Free, what up, baby?
I'm seeing deja vu here.
Yeah, man. Set Free hat's been representing on the People Party. Now talk to me about Yonkers and how Yonkers being adjacent to New York, but not seen as part of the five boroughs, affect the mentality of people in Yonkers, and how hood it is, but also how family oriented it is.
Yonkers, we always call Yonkers is like a gumbo, being that it's about 45, 50 minutes from Brooklyn, maybe an hour from Staten Island, hour and a half from Shaolin, and less than that from, maybe 30, 45 from Queens, and a little bit less from the Bronx and Harlem and, down the line. So we always felt that we had talent and culture, and they always overlooked us, like listening to the radio back then, WBLS and whoever was the on-air personalities, when it would just make us cringe to hear them shout out Brooklyn and all of the boroughs. And then it got to a point where Heavy D was popping, and they would skip over Yonkers.
Go to Mount Vernon.
And shout Mount Vernon out. So we like,
He had a whole song and a video and
everything. He had it
everything.
lit. You know what I mean? We like, yo, do they know about us?
Right, because you got to pass Yonkers to get to Mount
Yeah,
Vernon.
you got to go through YO to get to Mount Vernon. We like, damn, where's the love at?
Right.
So Mary popped, but for some reason, she represented it, but she still wasn't really trying to put it on the map like that for whatever the reasons were at the time. So we still felt like she's getting in and she's popping, but they still ain't, they ain't noticing us for this. There's some spitters here too.
Right.
So then we got on, and X got on, and we start getting our just due and doing our due diligence, and that really felt better than anything, like letting the world know about our demographic, coming from Yonkers. And it's family oriented. There's a lot of big families in Yonkers. You can go to Yonkers and meet somebody, and they have a whole heap of relatives that devour the whole Yonkers. Like it's a few last names that damn near take over Yonkers.
Right.
So it was good growing up there. It was also like a black cloud because nothing was really going on in the crack and dope epidemics. And we also had some hardships due to the sports. There's a dude, Bernard Toon, he's my pops. My pops is good friends with his brother and also him.
Okay.
He went to our high school. We went to the same high school, Gorton High School. He won the championship in basketball. Then he went on to win. I'm not sure if he won in Marquette. I think he won the championship in Marquette. He went D1 to Marquette. Then he got drafted to the Sixers. He actually played with Doc. But he did. Whoever was the coach, whoever coached him in Marquette, I'm not sure if it was Dick McGuire or Al McGuire. They hated him so much that they said they would never recruit nobody from Yonkers again.
Damn.
And then we never, a couple dudes went D1, almost made it, but nobody never went back to the league from YO. Ben Gordon went from the Vernon. Couple dudes, a lot of dudes go D1 from Mount Vernon High School. So I'm trying to do a documentary or 30 for 30 on that whole thing, just to display that curse that's kind of on us ever since, Bernard Toon. But, Yonkers is cool. You just can't let it hold you back. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's cool to be from there and great rooted, but I think it's a place that's made for you to blossom and then move on and you'll have more success.
Your flow and your delivery, before we even get to the lyrics, is, in my opinion, I'm not a perfectionist and I'm not into perfection, but is as close to perfect as it's gonna get.
That's big shit coming from you because you put some shit together, bro.
Nah, I mean it, bro. A lot of people look up to you as an MC lyrically, delivery wise, flow wise. Who was it that you looked up to? That the way I'm describing you, who was it that you looked to and that's how you described them?
Kane. Big Daddy was very influential to, I thought he was incredible the way, just dropping the knowledge, putting Islam and dropping jewels in his bars as well as, talking that talk.
Yeah.
I just thought he was incredible. Although I listened to Chris, I listened to KRS, I listened to the God Rakim, I listened to Cool G, I listened to Run and D, I listened to it all, like the Furious 5, Grandmaster Flash. I was a student of the game very, very young, you know what I mean? And I think that helped me. My mom played a big part. She brought me to concerts. She brought me to, the Apollo very young, see Keith Sweat and Heavy D and L.
That's a show right there.
I mean? Yeah,
wait, Keith Sweat, Heavy D, LL Cool J
yeah, my
at the
13th
Apollo.
birthday.
Yes.
Yeah, my pops. It was one of the illest. I'm like, I don't want to go to the Apollo with my mom and dad. And that show was like mind-boggling to me. It was, I got my dad on one side, I'm in the middle, my mom on the other side, and the show was just one of the greatest shows I ever seen.
Yeah, fuck reality TV. That's growing up hip hop. You know what I'm saying? For real.
So I always say my mom is very responsible and very influential in my career. Just the music she played while I was in the back seat, the music she played cleaning up the crib, and all of that kind of stuff. Graduating from the moving up ceremony from kindergarten to first grade, they bought me the Sugar Hill vinyl. The sky blue with the colorful train. My aunt bought me a little radio, my first radio. Those are memories like that.
Okay.
Stuck in my mind and make me think, they played a big part in me being in this.
Okay.
Well, yeah, definitely Kane. I would say Kane, and I would say all of them from Kane, from everybody before Kane up to Kane. Like that's when, of course, Biggie. Early Nas, halftime Nas.
Yeah.
Everybody. I loved hearing it. I loved
that real shit though.
I loved hearing that real shit. I loved hearing how hip hop was evolving from hibbity hip hop to dudes really putting some shit together, and you know, I wanted to be involved in it.
Right. Now, what I like about the LOXX, we're gonna get into this more later, but like just the way you came on the show, like you and me, we've been running the same circles for years. We've been seeing each other out there. You know what I'm saying? We are definitely a part of working class MCs. But what I know about the LOXX is that y'all spit that shit that inspire niggas to go out and get it. But the thing that I noticed the most consistent, I think y'all are the inventors of this, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. I think the LOXX are the inventors of the color of the whip rap.
Yeah, we was just talking about that too earlier. The Porsche, the same color as water.
Yeah.
And all of them kind of
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in that white thing, listen to the greatest of Marvin. Like, it's always the LOXX have invented a way to describe the color of the whip and the make and model sometimes, but definitely the color. And that gives you this visual of movement and of where y'all at with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's ill. That's
okay.
Ill.
I just want to make sure I was on point for that.
We definitely got some responsibility for that aspect of it, because we always did that. 24
Hours to Live. Who came up with the concept for that song? Was that Steve? That's his shit. I wrote that on the paper. He was like, yo, I was thinking the same shit. Who came up with the concept, and what was it like to compete with so many young, hungry, but formidable MCs on that track?
That was Mace. That was all Mace. I think that was all Mace's idea. That was his song. And we was on the block. We was on the block at the time. We had probably just been signing Bad Boy for 6 months. So we was still in the hood, and we got the call. We happened to all be together anyway, so we got the call to come down and do a song on Mace's album. When we got there, we heard the concept. He already had a verse. Then me, Styles, and Sheik, you know, went in separate corners, wrote our verse. Black Rob wrote his verse. And
I could feel the competitive energy though on that record.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that session didn't seem too competitive due to the nature of the content of the song was already there, and everybody had different, you know, views of what they would do if they had 24 hours to live. So that wasn't too much pressure. I've been in some sessions that felt a little more pressurized, but that wasn't really one of them. That was like a fun, you know, we was like brothers doing that. Even Mason, Rob, we all, you know, we was happy to be on Bad Boy at the time.
Right. So it was the hottest shit out.
Anything they threw at us, we was just trying to knock it down.
Right.
Speaking of Bad Boy, one of my favorite songs, All About the Benjamins. Who wrote Puff's verse?
That would be me. It wasn't even. That's a good thing that, you know, it's a funny story with the Benjamins, because I already had we was in the MIDI room just rapping, you know, because we would be in the MIDI room and while Biggie or Puff would be working in the other two rooms. And he happened to come in and just hear me rhyming, and I already had that rhyme. Like, he heard it and was like, nah, that's me. Let me get that rhyme right there.
It's the hottest whistle.
He took that and put that on the Benjamins. But me and Sheik didn't like the Benjamins. He almost like forced us to record the verses that we have on there. We didn't really understand what that beat wasn't like. Right. It didn't grasp us at the time. Like, we wasn't eager to just record it.
But Diddy knew.
Diddy knew. Yeah, that's what makes Diddy. Like, he knew once he got that joint from D-Dot. Shout out to Derek.
Shout out to D-Dot.
Once he got that, Diddy already sort of, he knew what it was. And then once he put it on the sampler and let it out, DJs was burning it. Skate Key was playing it 30 times. It's a classic. That really was like our first commercial and hood hit that, you know, catapulted us besides the mixtape stuff that we was doing.
Yeah, that's a classic song. It's like Talib's always rapping random verses, and that's like a verse that like I know. And when that song comes on, I like kill that verse, and then I start. Don't put me on the spot.
Prove it.
Here we go.
Prove it.
What you want to do? You want to be ballers, shot callers, ballers, who be dipping in the bins with the smallest. Don't make me keep going. I'm a fucking. But I Listen, that's my shit. I sing it for karaoke all the time.
That's a good verse.
He did about 4 versions of it. So
I wrote in a session for Diddy for a couple weeks. He told me my writing was too complicated.
Don't worry if he write rhymes, he writes checks.
Yeah, you know.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can't see Diddy spit your bars. It's like not even your bars.
There's a song I wrote over a Kanye beat about mothers that somehow got leaked on the internet that I wrote for one of them sessions.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting because the song is about loving your mom, but I wrote it as if I was writing about Puff's mom. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's stories on it that are not quite my stories. But, you know, this is like a really, 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 really dusty version on the internet somewhere.
That's hard. Look for that.
Talk to me about when Money, Power, Respect was on the radio, on the mixtapes, on the street, in the club. Like, there was a point in New York City hip-hop where that song was ubiquitous, and it was just everywhere. Talk to me about that era.
You know, we was like on the bottom of the food chain. We feel like when we was on a part of the Bad Boy label. Not really, like mid-bottom. We was anxious to release our project, so when we was able to do it and get Little Kim and DMX on it, we felt really good about, you know, that single. So we shot that video in Yonkers. Actually, that's one of the first and only big videos that we ever shot in Yonkers, and they put some money behind us, and it was buzzing. You know, It felt good. It felt good to walk around New York and get that love. And that was the title track of the album.
Yeah.
So, you know, what it stood for was made us feel real good.
No doubt.
Speaking of Bad Boy, Rough Riders crossover, Kanye once made a metaphor. The doors closed. I was like Bad Boy Street Team. I couldn't work the locks. Was that how it felt like when you left Bad Boy and moved over to Rough Riders?
For one, after I found out like Mace was writing for Ye, I always wondered if Mace wrote that line.
Wait, Mace wrote for Kanye?
Yeah, Mace. Kanye had a lot of writing sessions, a lot of writing partners.
Wow. He might have, huh?
But that was a good line though, like, cause that's how we felt. Know what I mean? And it's a remix out there where we come in. He stopped at that line. He stops, and then Me, Styles, and Chic come on rhyming on it. It's a remix somewhere on the internet with that version like that too. Yeah, but we felt like that, so that was a good line. But then after all down the line, when I found out Mace was working with him, I always wondered if Mace had something to do.
Damn,
with
we're gonna have to ask him that.
One of the things that I think made those crews of that era, whether it was Murder Inc., Rough Riders, Bad Boy, Rockefeller, was having the main studio where everybody was spending time at. Can you describe what it was like to be at the Rough Riders studio?
That was very important. The Rough Riders studio was like a dog kennel with a dog pit that they would call it the pit. Literally, you have to go through. They would bring in a bunch of dudes that could rap that just, you know, instead of, you know, like when you see on TV, Sonny Carson or the gang initiation.
Right. That's at Fort Greene Park.
Go through the thing.
Right by Brooklyn Tech, where I went to high school. Yeah.
No doubt. When you got to go through the line and you got to take all
somebody
that.
got a chain,
It
somebody
was
got
that
a
same
bag.
thing, but just with rappers. Like
Right.
you had to go through a lot of rappers to actually get signed or actually get your proper. So it was a lot of competitive energy, good tension, and it made everybody better. You know what I mean? Because at some point of the night, Drag On would be there, the Locks would be there, X would be there, Mace would be there at a time. Everybody, and that just made, you know, Still Shopping Still.
Right. I mean, that's the start of Swiss Beats, Eve, DMX. Can you tell us quickly the history of how Rough Riders started?
Well, I think it started as, Joaquin. I think it was his vision first. And then as it grew, I think D got on board with him, and then they brought their sister Siobhan in. They signed X. X brought them to sign us. we got to deal with Bad Boy.
Mm-hmm.
They was our managers. X got to deal with Def Jam.
Mm-hmm.
Then they got the label deal. Then we went back. We got off Bad Boy, got on Rough Riders, then Dragged and Eve.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know what I mean? And it went like that.
A special time.
Yep. It was just a special time. They was trying for a while, though, too.
Mm-hmm. So it wasn't overnight success.
Nah, definitely wasn't overnight. They had the Born Loser single with X. They was working with Chad Elliott. They was working with Irv before when he had Ja and guys and doing the Cash Money
Mike Geronimo,
and Mike Geronimo,
CMC, yeah,
all of that. They was
that's
trying.
where that murder. That's where that Murder Inc. come from.
Yeah, they was trying for a while, so you know, it paid off after a long run.
Now one thing I noticed about the Locks is, I don't know if y'all ever had any friction, but certainly publicly, y'all have never, as far as I could tell, showed any cracks in the family. It's
Never.
like
Solid, super solid. One day, hopefully they don't wait till we no longer here to recognize that and you know, give us that accolade if not anything else. But we always just made a pact and an oath to keep it in house. You know, we don't agree on every single thing. We always do the numbers game. You know, if two say it, that means that's what it is. Or if we all disagree, then we got to figure a way to work it out. And if we, you know, can't agree on something, we handle it in a closed room, and when we open that door, that it no longer exists. And we was very stern on keeping it like that by just watching the trials and tribulations that other groups go to, some that came after us, some that we look up to, and we use all of the things that break them up, or all of the dumb shit that, you know, the radical tweets and the and just use that like, yo, look, this can never be us. And you know, it's just been solid since little kids, and we gonna go to the grave like that.
That's real.
Did y'all ever do like a rock, paper, scissors in your clothes room to figure it out?
Nah. I mean, not that simplistic, but we make it real easy, you know. And we never we real adamant about not doing it in front of strangers, or you know, not having no outbursts, or no, you know, not getting out of character amongst each other in the outside world, and we just gonna keep it like that.
No doubt. That's one of the best parts about that group. The Last Kiss album was a joint release with Def Jam, Rough Riders, and Rockefeller, right? 2007. Now, that's kind of unprecedented. And I think that it's a testament to how much respect you had in the business that three of the most powerful outfits in the game came together and was like, we need to ensure that at least publicly we look like we behind this Jadakiss record. How did it feel to get that much, at least on the surface, industry support?
It felt good. Well, Rough Riders was really on the downslide. They just had the imprint on there because of the affiliation, but they wasn't that active as the Rough Riders that we know. And I think Hov was the president, or you know, that's when Hov was the president of Def Jam at that time. So that's how that went. It was cool. It felt good, especially being, you know, from the beginning and having the competitive battles with Rockefeller, you know, quiet. We was definitely family, but it was a lot of subliminals being silenced and shot at each other back then.
Right.
So to finally have everybody on the back of one CD, it felt good.
No doubt. There's a mystique surrounding you in the streets, I think, because you never did jail time officially, right?
Nah, it's just I have 9 uncles that probably out of 9 of them, rest in peace to the ones that ain't here no more, but nice majority of them did a lot of fucking jail time. So,
but you're looked at as a very accurate, very authentic voice for the streets. Is that more because of the storytelling or more because of the time you put into the streets, you think?
I think it's a combination of both. I'm like a sponge. Like, I'm a dude that took the things I went through and a lot of things that happened around me and was able to put it into words, you know, and make you see the vision of it. And, you know, like I said, all my uncles, a lot of them went to jail a lot since I was young, and my cousins, and, you know, I was able to put what I was doing and going through and incorporate all of that stuff with it. And, you know, a lot of my friends went to jail. My right-hand man went to jail. And Yonkers is always like false intel about what's going on the hustling scene or just some of the negativity. And since I was one of the ones that made it, and, you know, Styles and Sheik don't really be around as much as I used to be around, they just try to think I had something to do with everything going on. And, you know what I mean? So
I've heard y'all do interviews, though, where you said that for at least for a time when people was first hearing about y'all was still hustling.
Yeah, we when we was first on Bad Boy, we was still we used to go to Daddy's house with crack on us.
Damn.
Now, at which point did you realize, okay, now it's time to put this down?
When I think after we really started killing the Clue tapes, and then that led us to go on the road, like many tours just off the Clue tapes. We started getting booked crazy, so we didn't need to do that anymore. And then after the Benjamins came out, we was getting booked
crazy.
Stupid. Yeah, so we leveled up.
Okay.
How important is authenticity to your career? And has there ever been some things that you like turned down because you're like, nah, that'll fuck up my street cred?
Yeah, a lot of reality shows.
No love in hip hop for you?
Not at all. Never a chance. But yeah, you gotta. It's always good to grow, but it's always good to stay, stay the course. Because once you build a core fan base, they know when you're not doing what they love you for. You know what I mean? They're the first ones to expose you. So yeah, you can't, you gotta do. It's money and there's enough gigs and opportunities that fit what you do. So you don't have to jump out the window or do something just for the, I heard the slogan, all money isn't good money.
That's the truth.
And that counts for
That's the total truth.
That type of stuff. That's why I love Dave Chappelle. That's why I love a lot of dudes that, stood 10 toes down and rather do what they love to do the way they love to do it, opposed to the man coming and telling you to get out of your element. You know what I mean? For the money, no matter what the ticket was.
Word up. Now, at the height of 50 Cent's success, he went at any artist that worked with an artist that he didn't like. You know what I'm saying? Including you.
Yeah.
You dropped a diss track called Checkmate that a lot of your
billboards.
fans...
It hit the billboards.
A lot of your fans consider that some of your, greatest lyrical, contributions to the game. But that beef with 50 was settled very quickly, and certainly more quickly than most of his beefs. How did that go about?
I think Fifth was really a fan. Mutual fan, because we was rocking with him, rooting for them. Always root for the underdog. His story is one of the greatest stories. He said on one of his best songs back then, all the other hard niggas, they come from Yonkers.
From Yonkers,
so
right.
That already,
that must have been, speaking about how you was talking about Yonkers earlier, a nigga from Queens doing that at the top of his game, that must have been crazy.
That's what I'm saying. That set a precedent, and we knew that he really meant that to be at that height of his career and even say that. Like he didn't have to say that. So he really fucked with us. We knew that, and we didn't even meet him, but just saying that one bar was, we knew what that was. But yeah, after it all died down, it was ill because he came to D Block by himself.
Word up.
He came through one day. He called and said, "Yo, I'm coming through." And he came through by himself. He sat down, kicked it for a few hours. Me, him, and P. Sheik wasn't there. Sheik didn't come to the studio that day. But me and P, updated him that everything was love. Sat there, kicked it. He actually had a song for me and a song for P to get on whatever album he was working on, and we've been good ever since. It wasn't even that serious. The people kind of blew it up more than it was, and
I mean,
I think he
y'all
was
a
using
big
it
deal
for a marketing tool for that album because after the
y'all big deal 50 was a big deal, so the fans was trying to invest into it.
Yeah, they're gonna put the gasoline on it, but I don't think it was as serious as some of his other ones. But
talk about your signature laugh and where it came from, when it started, and when you decided like this is the thing. I'm gonna own this.
Shout out to my man Chach. He's the engineer that recorded all the Rough Ryder albums and my earlier albums. Sometimes my ears or my throat would be clogged up before I was about to do my verse, and I used to scream like, "Oh!" yell, or you know what I mean? And one day I just did the sound and he kept it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Before the verse came on, he left it. And to this day, I never asked him. To this day, I never asked him why he left it. But he left it, you know what I mean? And then I just kept doing it. And people start liking it. And I start seeing aunties in the mall, and they start saying, "Ain't you that boy that do it?" And they'll try to make the sound. So I'm like, damn, this,
it's a thing.
This is a thing. And I just kept it. It just stuck with me. But yeah, my engineer, he the one that kept it, because I used to do all type of tension breakers before I would come in with the verse.
Studio magic gems being dropped right now. Top 5 Dead or Alive. You at some point own that title. In hip hop, a lot of times people talk about the top 5, obviously, but when did you decide to own it? Was it like Made You Look remix era?
Yeah, I think it was that song, or even a couple of songs before that. And people started calling me that.
The streets did.
Yeah, because even when I did the album, I was going to change it. And I went on Twitter and said, "Yo, I don't know, I'm thinking about changing it." It's like, nah, leave it. You got to keep that.
Yeah, you got to own it.
So the actual conversation piece of that whole thing is like a religious conversation, because depending on how old you are, what you grew up listening to, or where you from, everybody in the world's top 5 is going to be different. It was really too many great MCs that put it in a 5, only 5, narrow it down to 5 anyway.
Well, it's like a revolving door depending on your mood, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, I don't really get caught up with the list that they put out there or none of that kind of stuff.
But hip hop's competitive. I mean, at a certain point, you really did. I mean, you named a project. You really owned it. Like, fuck that. Like, you're not gonna have this conversation without my name, and it's because the streets are saying this.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. But a lot of people get depressed and sad. And, you know what I mean? I bumped into artists that really feel smoke coming out of their ears when they don't get in the but it ain't that serious. But it is good to be in the mentions and in the mix of it. You know what I mean? That's always a good thing. But
no doubt,
you gotta feel what you do is top notch anyway. Screw what.
Now I heard that you recently said. I heard you recently said that if you got a ghostwriter, you can't be in that conversation.
Yeah, I know you agree with that. Where we from, that wasn't.
I just had to make sure I had to put it out there for the people. You ain't said it on my show yet, so
I know you agree with that. You know what I mean? And just how we grew up, it was much harder to be accepted when we came up. You know that. And once you achieved that, and the greats embraced you and let you know you was nice, that was a big accolade and a big accomplishment, but you couldn't get that if somebody wrote them rhymes for you. You had to.
You're an actor.
Yeah, you had to do that.
Right.
But with today's climate and demographic of music, if they love the music, they don't give a fuck who wrote it. They don't care where it came from.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
That's
I ain't mad at them, but I'm mad at somebody because the rule book of hip hop and rap, that's not, you know what I mean? That's breaking out. I don't know if that's hip hop.
Breaking code.
And it's sad because the songs can go do astronomical numbers and make a shitload of money. But when we getting back to the basics of what this game is built off, you know what I mean?
Word up.
That's music, but is it hip hop? Is it from the park era?
Right.
Is it from 2 turntables and a mic to what we build it to? Nah, that's a stripe off or something.
Right.
When's the last time you sold verses as a ghostwriter?
I haven't written anything for nobody in a minute, but you know, I did. I wrote that stuff for Puff. Wrote for a few people.
You gonna come out of
I did a little. I don't really. I wasn't.
Right.
I don't really like to write for other people. It feels like I don't want to give you too much of me. I can do it, but I don't.
But you feel it's
And
a
then,
spiritual
you know
essence
what?
thing.
It's definitely a spiritual essence thing. And then I feel like if I give you something too good, now you're gonna keep coming back.
Right.
And I ain't taking away from my
I mean,
time.
she know
Well,
one
listen.
of your verses by heart, and you didn't spit it.
And listen, I'm trying to get you out of retirement because I feel like I can be a rapper. I got the raspy voice. I got
I
a
mean,
laugh.
for you, we can
Go
work
ahead,
something
write me
out.
something,
I write you a 10-song project.
Yeah, I'm in here. Cardi
Let
B,
you do
watch
your
out.
thing. I craft you up something. Man.
Yo, how important were the New York mixtapes to your ascension as to top 5 status? And you mentioned Clue already, but who else
My whole part of my career came from mixtapes. Is ode to mixtapes and ode to the streets and ode to them listeners and consumers. Everybody, Clue, Doo-Wop, Rated R, Envy, SNS, Ron G, yeah.
Yes.
You know, whatever Music Hut was holding at
Music
the time,
Hut.
I was, you know.
You was the king of Music
them,
Hut.
That was a big spiral for my brothers and myself. A lot of people got their first whiff of us off mixtape. So
Right.
you know,
No doubt.
we owe a super portion of our career to the mixtape scene. That was it. That was our formula, to take other people's beats and try to destroy them.
Word.
And get the people's attention, and
Y'all did that in fine fashion, brother.
I appreciate that.
No doubt.
That was the good old days right there.
Now, part of those good old days was battling with Beanie Siegel and them. Jay-Z introduced y'all during the session for Reservoir Dogs, right?
Yeah.
And what led to the initial just jump off of y'all battling and going at each other on the mixtapes back and forth?
Well, at first we didn't know, because you know that one hurt me more than a 50 Cent one, because you know, Sieg is my man. I felt a real chemistry there, and I ain't really know where it came from. But then after he went through what he went through with Rockefeller and them, he said that they told him to do it. Like, so that felt good too, knowing that that they really, you know, they put him up to it. Not that he couldn't have did it, but it was nothing there to, you know what I mean? He was just putting out an album, and they told him that would be a good fire starter. And it was cool.
I mean, those was very strange and interesting times.
Yeah.
But that got squashed. Talked about how that got squashed.
We talk like men, and really said that it wasn't really about nothing. It wasn't really serious. I mean, And back in those days, it was a lot of gun towing and
Mm-hmm.
shooting and, you know, entourage clashing.
Mm-hmm.
So we was able to
Y'all had to
scratch.
step up.
Yeah. We made it work. And no, those are my brothers, though.
No doubt.
State property. I love Philly.
No doubt.
They had a lot of talent in Philly.
Yeah, man. It makes me think of what you just said. I've been binge watching this Hulu Wu-Tang American Saga shit.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
Yeah, and the first scene is Raekwon shooting up Ghostface crib.
Yeah, I gotta see that. I gotta see that.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
tell
like
me.
it's some Shakespearean shit.
I gotta see that.
Talk about developing a close relationship with the Notorious B.I.G. When y'all recorded the song Last Day and just getting on Bad Boy and any wisdom that Big might have passed to you that you still hold on to.
Before we even recorded Last Day, like whenever we would get a chance to be at the studio while Big had sessions, we would just go inside his session and pick his brain, ask him mad questions.
Like sensei level shit.
Yeah, just ask him about all type of shit. Ask him what was he thinking when he wrote certain verses. Ask him, you know, what to expect. He told us Puff was gonna do a lot of things we didn't like, but he was gonna make us stars, and that was actually a reality. He liked our work ethic, you know what I mean. He really fucked with us. Like he dug us. Like he told us he was happy we was doing the label with him, and we was gonna do a lot of big things, music and tours, and you know what I mean. He had big plans for us working together. As you can see, we was one of the only rare features on the Life After Death project. Wasn't too many, and for us to be young new artists, to be on that album was a big thing for us. He just always instilled keeping the hunger and never take no days off. One day I seen him at the Apollo with the Junior Mafia and Mace doing the show, and when I had seen him later on that week in the studio, he was like, yeah, man, I had like $200 on me. I needed that. When they called for that Apollo show, I was on that shit.
Right.
So that's one thing with me I do shit come across the table that other artists might not take, and if it ain't too much going on, I take it. I always remember him saying that work. Just a lot of things, you know what I mean? And just being there while he was recording Life After Death, seeing some of them sessions in the making, watching DMC repetitively say, pray and pray for my downfall. Opposed to the sample was just insane for us. Seeing Angela Winbush sing I Love the Dough live.
Right.
Like, you know what
Take
I mean?
her song and flip it for hip hop generation.
Flip it, but seeing her record it was like, this is crazy. Seeing Hove come in our session like, yo, I'm about to go first on I Love the Dough. Like, shit is crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? We like, go in there, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? So, just being there for that type of nostalgic moments is like priceless.
I heard that you help orchestrate the Junior Mafia reunion for the BET Awards. Is that accurate?
I wouldn't say I help orchestrate them for the BET Awards, but I am kind of responsible for getting, not them back, but getting C's back with Kim.
Okay, because we had Kim on the show.
I am kind of responsible for getting Kim, getting them back together on the same accordance, and you know what I mean? But then when Kim was finally ready to let whatever go and bring it back, that's when she had the dinner for Big, and we all attended with the Junior Mafia. It was a beautiful day. It was love, and I knew Big was proud of everybody in the room, and I was happy to, be there for that, and know that behind the scenes and, on the low, the one who actually kept bringing them around and slowly getting it back together. So, you know, those are my fan. That's my peoples forever. So
you have a lot of responsibility as one of the custodians of Big's legacy. You know, there's not many of y'all, but you one of them.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? Talk to me about recording We Always Love Big Poppa.
Well, when did he get killed? In 97?
Yeah.
So yesterday,
March 9th,
was actually the second time we was ever in LA on March 9th. Besides 1997 was our first time ever being out here when he got killed.
And you know what's crazy? That's the time I met y'all at that party.
That's
was 97.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So that was ill.
Wow.
Yesterday was a little creepy for me due to the anniversary of that. But us being here for the first time when they killed B.I. and being at the party and, you know what I mean, seeing the SUV with the holes and just, that was like mine. That blew our mind too. And when we got back, you know, they was dealing with the services and getting all the arrangements and all that right. So we didn't really have too much communication besides them giving us the funeral arrangements and when to come to. Besides that, everybody, you know, they was grieving and doing their thing. We was in Yonkers and we was like, yo, let's make a song that we want to play for the Mafia and Big's family, that they could play at the service, you know, or the repass or whatever. Just a song that, you know what I mean? Yeah. And we had Dame Grease, we had access, we had our own studio. So Grease got the beat and the kids on the hook. We recorded it, got it mixed and all that. We let Puff and them hear it and we, you know what I mean, got it to the service. And then after that, that's when everything else started coming, you know, Missing You and you know, it became a thing. But we just did it just to do it. It was
it's such a heartfelt, important record.
Yeah, we just did it from out of the love that we had for B.I. We didn't think to market it or shoot a video. We wasn't really thinking on that level. That was Puff.
Was that one of the first like rap deaths that really touched everybody? Because I remember they came over the loudspeaker and we did a moment of silence when Big died.
For me, it hurt me. It body blowed me. It was, you know what I mean? It was, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what to think after that. Then it being my first time in LA was even more crazy for me. Like, damn.
I mean, you was so young, though.
Yeah, definitely young, but just like B.I., that was unbelievable. It was like...
He felt untouchable.
Yeah, we like, not B.I., like, this is crazy, so...
For you to be that young, how was it to have to go through that mourning and grieving, but also at the same time, artistically and creatively, and I'm not just talking business-wise, but artistically and creatively have to sort of throw the label on your back?
Well, it didn't feel like that for me because I had Styles and Chic. You know what I mean? So we formed Voltron. That's the good thing about having two other partners and brothers in a 3-man group. So we more felt like we got to represent for Big. You know what I mean? Opposed to putting a label on our back. You know what I mean? Still had Mace, still had Black Rob. We still had a lot of firepower. But our thing was like, if nobody else gonna do it, even though we ain't from Brooklyn, the love and the unity and the way, you know, the respect and how we feel about him and how he felt about us, we gonna rep him
to the
death. You know what I mean? And we've been doing that ever since.
Yes, y'all have. Absolutely. Now let's talk about what led up to the Free the Locks campaign. One of the illest campaigns in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all was out there beasting. You know what I'm saying? Talk to me about that. And every time I hear the song Wild Out, I feel like that song encapsulates that energy of that time.
I mean, it came out about the same time. You're right. It came out about that same. That was That's about as accurate as...
It was like Wild Out and Free the Locks.
You could get that. That's about right. But after Big, you know, the untimely demise of Big, we just start having a lot of disagreements on the label. And getting off wasn't a normal thing that we had heard and we had knew. That you don't just get off a label because you want to get off. Like, you know, business is business. You got a contract, is you know, it's rules and regulations and stipulations and you know, things that it's just not that easy.
Right.
So when we finally decided, like, you know, we ain't got enough money to fight in court, we gonna have to, all we got is the power of the streets.
Take it to the streets.
But it wasn't, we thought about it hard and long for a few weeks or a few months because, you know, we also knew in hindsight it could have been over. You know what I mean? If this don't work and he can shelf us and you ain't gonna never put out an album again or, you know what I mean? We didn't know what could happen, but we knew it could be all bad. You know what I mean? But, like, once again, I said a 3-man group. We put our hands in the huddle and said, this what we doing, this what we doing. We doing it to the death.
No doubt.
And boom. So we set up, we started strategically seeing how we was going to do it, but we knew we had to use the streets. Rough Riders was still on fire. It was Eve's turn.
Yeah.
Right? It happened to be Eve's turn. Summer Jam came up. She had a prime time slot. You know, we made sure we can get just about, all we needed was 7, 10. I ain't sure how many minutes we asked for, but she was like, oh yeah, I got that. We got the T-shirts printed up. We gave boxes out to the parking lot, so the whole parking lot had them on. We gave them out in the arena, so a nice amount of the arena had them on or had them in the hand. We had street team out there just making everybody chant it, let the locks go, let the locks go. They was going crazy. Then Eve came out, she doing her set. I forgot when she let us come out. When we came out, we did a verse of Dope Money. The crowd went crazy. We did a verse or two of We Gonna Make It. They went crazy. Then we turned the music off and had the whole arena going, let the locks go. Yeah. Let the locks go. So, you know, we felt good after that. Then after that, I think D sat down with Puff and they was able to work something. Actually, I heard Steve Stout was the overall one. That
Steve always lurking in the background. Pulling some type of string.
Some kind of other group. Listen to this. They said they had some kind of other group that was supposed to be like the Locks or better coming out of the Shy. And he was able to, you know, do a sign and trade or some type of shit. And got
this group never came out, though.
Nah. It never came out.
Talk to me about the creation of D-Block Records and just that era when y'all went from Rough Riders, Bad Boy, Rockefeller, all that to just focusing on D-Block.
I thought it came from, it's all kind of different origins, but I thought it came from when we was making my album, Kiss the Game Goodbye, and we was in Miami.
All right, so that's early.
So much tension. It was so much tension. We had a house. This before Airbnb when the budgets was humongous. They got me a house on
Star Island type of shit. Okay.
Road, but it was in one of the Star Island type of houses.
Right.
On Alton Road. And when that, you know, after just being together for so many weeks and months and all that, dudes, the tension will build up. And I thought I remember P saying this part of the living room was the D-Block section. So if you come in here, you better not be on no bullshit.
Yo, that's
how I thought it originated, right. But they say it's all different. No, I hear it's a few different ways.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I like that story, though.
I'm remember him and Luch, yeah, really like, yo, this section, You know, this the D block section of the crib, this living room area around the couch and all
Right.
that. So if you come in here, you better not be on, I don't care. Don't be on none of that bullshit. And then it turned into a thing and a label, and you know, Luch carried it on his back, and
Yeah, he really did his thing.
blossomed. And
Y'all had some club bangers that rivaled the club bangers y'all had in the Bad Boy era.
yeah, I mean, you know,
That's what you do.
once we got our own studio, that helped things tremendously because you were able to do what you want when you want.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
No doubt. One of my favorite records that you were a part of is Throwback with Usher.
yeah.
Have you ever heard the Jay Dilla version on Donuts with your voice sampled on it?
Nah, well, I gotta. Where's that at?
I'm gonna send it to you.
Yeah, please.
I'ma send it to you.
Man, rest in peace, Jay Dilla.
Yeah, man.
Always-
Because he flipped the same sample, but because Usher had flipped it before him, he paid tribute by having your laugh on the sample when he flipped it.
Yeah.
And that's the album he made in the hospital bed. You know what I'm saying? The Donuts
man.
album.
I gotta hear that.
Yeah.
Man. That's ill.
Yeah.
That's ill.
Yeah, word
Rest
up.
in peace, Jay Dilla.
Rest in peace to
Definitely
Jay
One
Dilla.
of the illest.
No doubt. Rest in peace to Guru from Gangstar.
Definitely, bro.
Right Where You Stand.
Yeah,
It's such an important record.
I remember that. Preem called me down to D&D at the time.
He also did Recognize.
Yeah,
You know?
I went down D&D and I remember going there and the beat was just so knocking. Preem told me the name of the song was Right Where You Stand. I went in there, knocked the verse out.
You slid in nice too.
Thought I was about to leave though. Check it out. I'm like, all right, Preem, you got it. Is the vocals tight? Yeah, he like, yeah,
Right.
we good. So I went to give him a dap. He like, nah, you gotta go do the hook. I'm like, nah,
Right.
Preem, I don't be doing hooks
Hook?
like that. Yeah, this.
But you do a hook on a Gangstar record.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't be doing hooks. He's like, nah, Kiss, you got it. Just go right where you stand.
No
I'm
doubt.
like, Preem. He like, Kiss, you got it. So, I go roll up one.
No doubt.
You know, I came up. I said, I'm gonna try this, Preem. I'm gonna go in there. He like, that's it.
That's
I'm
it?
telling you, that's it. I got it.
Shout out to DJ Premier.
Yeah, he's a genius.
On that record, you said, I'm a slave to Interscope. What was you going through at that time for you to say that on that record?
Nothing crazy.
Okay.
Just
giving them
you know,
game.
I just always listen to Nas, and you know what I mean. That's if any young artist, if you really break your contract down, it's a similar form of slavery.
That's right.
You
They
know
call
what I mean?
athletes $40 million slaves.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Facts.
No doubt. Now, the Ghost Styles P is someone that I've had the honor and the pleasure of having a very unique musical relationship with, starting from back in the days with me and High Tech. We did a couple records together with Styles P. Me and Static Selector did a couple records together with Styles P. And then when I asked him to come on a tour with me, you know, I was touring a lot. The promoter said, who you want to tour with? I'm like, Styles P. I seen he was doing a lot of records with people. I'm like, he'd be perfect. When I called up Ghost, he was like, I'll tour with you, but we have to do an album together to roll out for the tour.
Businessman.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now,
Strict.
that's one of my jewels and gems in my career. I've done a lot of projects, but that's one of my favorites. Just to work with Styles. He upped my game lyrically. He upped my game as a man.
that LP
changed my
is
diet.
Sharp I love it. I'm glad y'all called me and Pete, me and Luch for it. Man.
Nah, I'm glad
That
you was
dope
on
shit,
it.
man.
But you and Styles have a unique years-long lyrical conversation that's been happening. Now, it's a three-man group, but you and Styles have this back and forth thing that sort of got best exemplified on We Gonna Make It. How did that start?
I don't know. We used to do it early. I think the first one is Dope Money, though. I think it started on Dope Money. We was messing around in Rough Ryder Powerhouse Studios. And we used to use one mic. We used to go in there, one mic, and do it back and forth. And then it was a time there set up two mics. And then now we'll go and leave the spaces. Like, I'll be like, nah, you got to set it off.
Right.
And he'll be like, nah, you got to go. And then I got to go and actually do it with spaces in it. And then he come back and fill it, or he do it, and then I got to fill it in. So
That's ill.
we figured out how to Batman and Robin it over the years, but we was always big fans of EPMD and MOP and, you know, all the 2-man groups, Mobb Deep, and, you know, anybody that ever did that back and forth. So whenever we had some off time or some spare time to do some rhyming, we would do that.
That's so ill, and it speaks to the veracity and the uniqueness of the LOX, is that it's a 3-man group, but you also have carved out the space to pay tribute to the 2-man group within this 3-man group. But let's not leave out Sheik.
Nah, Monster, the gorilla.
Yeah.
The gorilla. And even right now, Luch is like LeBron in his 17th season. He's sharper than ever right now.
Yeah, and he keeps getting better. Not a lot of artists get better. Like, I look at what Method Man is doing, you know, it's like that's, or Sheik. Like, certain people just get phenomenally better. Like Fat Joe after the pun era. Like, where you going with this? How you keep getting better?
Yeah, that's ill.
You know what I'm saying? Talk to me about what he means to the LOX and what he means to those certain eras of hip hop. Because I do believe that
very hip hop. He's
underrated.
very hip hop.
Yeah.
He's very underrated. He's very hip hop. He's very wealthy though. He loves the authenticity of hip hop, just knocking beats and dope cadences and spitting that shit. You gotta know him for him to open up to you. Know what I mean?
He's always been a gentleman, like a beautiful human being to
he's
me.
a good dude.
Show
but
me
he
so
ain't
much
gonna
love.
give you too much. If you, like a dude like you, he admire, you know, he respects the craft and, you know, we fuck with you. So you get to see a little more of him. But, you know, I grew up with him since first day of school haircuts. So I've seen different sides of him. But, he's just a good dude that love it. He loves, he's a great father. He loves his son and his family, very family orientated. Rest in peace to his mom. His mom was a great lady.
No doubt.
Super smart, super intelligent. She was one of the moms when, before we could grab the joystick, she asked everybody, how you doing in school? And, you know, how was your report card? And always stayed on top of us. And I think she instilled that in him. And you know, he has that in him, but he's also, he ain't shy because he's a gorilla, but you gotta know him for him to open up.
Right,
to you.
no doubt.
That's my bro, and he loved sharpening his sword at all times.
No doubt.
Sometimes he come out of that back room with some incredible bars and some songs that just fucking blow me out the water. I'm like, yo, dog, what the fuck was you thinking? And you know, he got that energy. He brings that energy to the group. You know what I mean? He brings that energy and that rugged hip-hopness that we never lose it, but he makes sure the level of that is always at a high level.
No doubt. Another person that represents New York in similar fashion, how like y'all represent New York is Fab.
Yeah.
Talk to me about why you did the Freddy versus Jason, how important that was for hip-hop, for New York City hip-hop.
He was doing the Friday night freestyles, and I wanted in on that after I heard like 2 of them. I'm like, man, rest in peace to Pick. Pick was still alive. I'm like, Pick, how the hell could we get in? This is New York. This is real New York shit right here. And of course, he had Clue for the outlet. He came in the game with Clue, so he had Clue releasing them at midnight on Friday. So we went to Envy. Like, yo, could we get the morning slot? And he like, yeah, kids, you could start doing the Friday morning joints and drop one in the morning. So I'm like, all right. And then I start doing them. They start heating up. Like people would be waiting for them. Yo, tomorrow morning you dropping something. So once we got that momentum and we crossed paths somewhere, he like, yo, I got this idea. Let's do the Freddy versus Jason. So I'm like, hell yeah. Let's go to Def Jam. Let's get some support. And let's do this shit. Do tour, merch, or he like, yeah, all right, let's do it.
Y'all did a good job with that.
He did it. It got good. It was really good. It was dope. It was good for the culture, good for New York. And then it was dope. We got closer off that. He's another one that if he won't open up to you unless, you got to throw him out.
Right.
But one thing when he gets around me, I see him smile more than
right. You see him to relax
yeah, I
fast.
see him relax.
You see Jonathan.
And I like him. I like when he's relaxing, chilling, and enjoying himself.
No doubt.
That's my bro.
No doubt.
Can you tell us what So Raspy means? Did it come out of what people were always telling you how your voice sounds?
It definitely got something to do with my voice, but that was a Icepick, rest in peace. He created. He came up with that.
The company.
We had the website. Yeah, he came up with the company. We were partners on SoRaspy.com, but after he passed it got shut down. I'm gonna launch it again after I get everything right, though.
Let's talk about Icepick and this album. He hovers over this album. This album is dedicated to him. You sound more emotional than I've ever heard you on record with this record. Was it hard to produce this record?
Definitely was hard making it, producing it. But at the same time, I didn't want it to be too dark.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want it to be totally somber. And I wanted to represent it in his light and stay in the zone, in the pocket of that you don't usually hear me in. And also, you hear me singing because he wanted me to sing. But out of my camp and my entourage, he was the grown-up one. He was the one that can go in and get the money from the labels or go sit with Preem and get the last final version of the beat that Preem had to do, or go get a verse from someone. He was both sides. Like he was very business orientated and could handle everything. So I couldn't be talking 2000 Kiss or 98 Kiss when I couldn't kill too much people or sell too much drugs on this project, just because it was in honor of him and that wasn't what he represented. So I wanted to make it grown. I wanted to make it musical. I wanted to make it personal. I wanted to do all the things he ever asked me to do that I always shrugged him off about when, he was in the physical form here with me. And I took for granted that he would be here longer than he was. And I was able to do it. It was some songs were harder than others. You could hear my voice cracking on the last song, The Closure. I was crying.
It's a beautiful record, brother.
I was crying, while we was making that. Poobs was even crying recording it, so that was a tough one. But the other ones were more of a celebration. Even the John Legend, that one didn't. It felt airy and gave me goosebumps, but it didn't make me cry like The Closure. I was actually crying recording it. So,
do you feel like we sometimes confuse vulnerability with weakness, and that black men need to show their emotions more? I mean, you somebody who has a lot of street
human.
cred.
Yeah, you know what I mean, dudes. Some dudes got the wall up and the tough guy aura mentality, but we all got feelings at the end of the day, and something to punch that button, whether it's your mother, your girl, your kids, your dog, your favorite Jordans, your car getting scratched, you know what I mean? Something to bring it out of you, and some dudes just keep their guards up longer than others, but, crying is therapeutic, is healthy. You gotta let it out. Some dudes let it out the wrong way and go shoot something or rob something or go mess up their whole future and jeopardize it all instead of just crying. But I ain't telling you to invest in Kleenex, but when you wanna cry, let it out.
No doubt.
How did you come to peace with your friend not telling you that he was sick and you not knowing until the last minute?
I incorporated that in making the album. You know what I mean? Like in some of the songs, Keep It 100 with me. I'm actually talking to him by he not telling me he had colon cancer and, curving me the whole time he was fighting it. So, although you hear me talking to a female and talking about something that happened with me and one of my ex-friends, I'm talking to him about he should have told me and maybe I could have helped him, financially, been there, moral support or anything. got him a green shake or anything. You never know, but it shows with his character.
Yes.
He knew he loved me, and throughout all the pain he was going through, he cared about me going through the pain of knowing he was going through pain. If that makes any sense, you know.
It does.
Yeah.
He was that strong, even in that battle of, you know, the toughest times fighting the colon cancer. He didn't want me to know because he knew it would crush me more than it did. Even though I wish he would have let me know, but he cared about me, and even in his time of pain. That just shows the purple heart that, you know, he deserved.
Pick really wanted you and Pusha T to collaborate.
Yeah.
And he was able to make that happen. How did it feel to be able to do that for your friend?
It felt great. A lot of people don't know he was employed by Star Trek as well, so he got a big relationship with Pharrell, Family, Push, and Malice, and them dudes over there, Loic and Philip and Steven Victor and all of them. So we really been family for a while. But me and Styles was on the first Clips album, so people heard us rhyme on songs together, but Pick always wanted me and Push to actually do a song.
Right.
And once I got the track and figured out where I wanted to go with it, I sent them to him. He was like, I'd do it anyway, but you know, for Pick, hell yeah,
so he already had a relationship with Pick. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Man, that's ill. You delayed the album out of respect for what was going on with Pop Smoke.
Yep.
Pop Smoke got killed. What do you have to say to people who blame the youth for the violent condition of the hood that they didn't create?
I don't know. Is it the youth's fault? Is it the upbringing? Is it the family background? Is it society? Is a lot of things to blame. And when you point the finger at somebody, you get three pointed back at you. But you need to try to fix it opposed to blaming them. For me, I don't like to keep saying this, but in that particular situation, the record labels, not the management, because, you know, Steven Victor's my man and everybody's my man. I don't even want to use that for example, but just in today's climate of music, if you got a hot artist that's currently active or currently saying he's a Blood or a Crip, you're sending them to L.A. when gangbanging started or Blood.
Right, you don't know the codes.
Yeah, you should beef up the security or send them with somebody that knows the land or something, I would say. Protect the brand, you know what I mean? He's blown up. He's super lit. His songs is all over the charts. He's popping his thing going on. You can't just leave him out there. So, you know, there's so many ways to go with it. We just got to figure out, you know, we can't lose no more of the youth. Whether they make music or not, whether they play soccer, whatever they do, we got to protect the youth.
On We Gonna Make It, you famously said dead rappers get better promotion.
Yeah, and that wasn't out of malice or nothing. That's just me seeing it in the early years, like they, you know, they big you up a little more than they did when you were alive. You can just go down the line, look at any rapper.
It hasn't changed much since then.
Not at all. With social media and all of this stuff, is even more now. There's murals, there's pages, there's merch, there's everything.
You're not typically seen as a conscious MC, but your music is extremely thoughtful, extremely well thought out. Why I feel like it's a conscious record. It's also your biggest record in terms of the industry clout. Walk us through the creation of that record and what made you want to make that record.
Well, that kind of record is definitely inspired by guys like yourself, Most, Common. And I had that concept in my mind for years.
It's a great concept.
Like just a bunch of questions that the world had in common. And when I finally got around to do it, Pick was the one who actually got me to get it out of me, and he actually helped me with that song. Shout out to Havoc for the beat. That's one of the beats that you never would think Hav produced.
People sleep on Havoc though.
I think Hav is one of the incredible producers. He just gets better with time too. And when we got it, and we got Anthony Hamilton to do the hook, and it just came out how we wanted it to come out. And when we went and sat down with Jimmy Iovine and played it for him, I didn't know how he was gonna feel about it. But he loved it. He was like, yo, we gotta put the money behind this. He told the staff, and I went on and got the Grammy nomination for it. I let my mom and dad go enjoy the ceremony and the red carpet and fly first class, and got him a suite, and went out to dinner with my manager at the time, Troy Carter, and they was able to, enjoy that whole Grammy thing, and even more than me, and that felt good for me. That
that record also pissed Bill O'Reilly off too, so that's a good thing.
Once it reached Bill, we feel like you feel like you made it, like making it to this podcast.
No doubt. And he received his karma too after that.
Yeah, he got what he was looking for. Keep your hands to yourself, Bill.
Now, you known for having some of the best rap verses of all time. I have my own picks, but I asked people on Twitter, I was like, what's the best Jadakiss verse? And why came up a lot, you know what I'm saying? But my picks based on like my personal picks, and I want to hear your picks. You know what I'm saying? But based on my Twitter feed and my personal picks, the best top 5 Jadakiss verses of all time are the first verse of Blood Pressure. You called Giuliani out early. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The rest of the world had to catch up with Giuliani. You know what I'm saying? But you said he might as well be murking niggas because the time he giving out is hurting niggas. Facts. You know what I'm saying? You put Superhead on the map in the second verse. You know what I'm saying? That's facts. Big dog status. Big dog status. We all in the same game, just different levels, dealing with the same hell. It's just different levels. Yeah. And you also said jail wasn't a part of the plan, never was on that record. Run with Ghostface.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Did you actually take your shirt off to do the verse? Because you say that at the beginning. I might got to take my shirt off.
I did. I was I kept getting stuck right at the end. And I don't like to punch. You don't really punch much, so I was going back to the top, and that kept happening. I was getting so hot, I had to take my shirt off.
Might have to take my shirt off.
Yeah.
No doubt. All for the Love, I couldn't pick which verse I liked the best, the first or the second verse. But that's one for me.
That's Swiss's first placement.
Wow, that's a good beat.
You know what I mean?
Shout out to Swiss Beats, one of the greatest producers of all time. You know what I'm saying?
First placement, swine.
No doubt. Honorable mention, because I already spoke about these already. Major Look remix and the Right Where You Stand verse. And Kiss of Death, second verse.
I don't even know what
Now, okay, do you have a favorite verse? And did I pick any of them?
I mean, out of that batch you said, I think I like Run.
Run, okay.
But I don't really. I don't even remember my verses like that until it's time to practice them, or if I'm going on tour or something.
Trying to memorize. Well, on the comments section, I want to kill the comments section because I want the people in the comments to weigh in on what they think the favorite one is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
No
Just
doubt.
to have one is beautiful, though.
No doubt.
No matter what they pick, I love it.
Now, we coming off this B.I.G. tribute in Atlantic City this past weekend, and word is you had a table crasher.
Yo, that's so funny. I don't know who created this fake
It's fake story?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man.
It's like,
you want to ask about this?
I know.
It's
like
4% truth, but they switched it around. Like, when we got to the club, Mike was in the section.
Okay.
But the club and the security want to tell him to move because they don't know we fuck with Mike.
Right.
I don't even want him to move.
Right, it's Mike Tyson.
Yeah, it's Mike. We chill. I'm happy he's fucking even in Atlantic City while I'm here. So we started chilling and socializing, but that was it. It wasn't, they they thought when I went and spoke to them, they like, yo, Mike is in your section and we don't want to tell him to move.
So they was scared.
Right.
You don't have to tell him to move. He's
right.
good. I don't, you know what I mean? And
right, so I Mike.
It wasn't one of, we cool with Mike. We gotta, you know, for years, Mike always showed the locks love. It was nothing. I don't know where they got that.
Well, I want to take this time to thank you, first of all, for Ignatius and, you know, for making this album for Icepick Jay and really representing the culture with this album. We really appreciate you.
Thank
but
you.
Beyond that, you know, I know that you on your album promotion run and you do this industry thing very well. But this conversation was necessary because your career is deeper than any conversation we could have. You know what I'm saying? And you're such an important part of the culture, bro. You have set the standard and raised the bar, and people live vicariously through your lyrics. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that. I appreciate that.
It's real, bro. And this is one of my favorite people party I ever got to do. And the reason why I do this show is to give people like Jadakiss from Yonkers a platform.
I appreciate that. And let's give a round of applause for that, ladies.
No doubt. People's Party welcomes Jadakiss. Give it up. Top 5 Dead or Alive.
Oh, I tried to do it, damn it.